No tip, no trip. So hey guys, so I want to talk about my experience with gig life, the apps that I'm using, including Instacart. Pretty much, I started using these gig apps pretty much to like as a side hustle, as like ways of having different streams of income. I was just tired of just having that one job, in particular one job that I'm not really enchanted with, but it's not about me. It's about getting what needs to be done. And sometimes with that one job, stuff come in, overdraft, bills and stuff come in, and that overwhelms. And so sometimes, like what, with the limited amount of money that you get paid either weekly or bi-weekly, it's not going to be enough for what you want to do, or what you need to do. And more importantly, that will include gas. You got to keep gas going in your car to get to where you need to be. Ever since I got my license in September of 2020, and that was kind of like a breeze, especially at DMV. And me and my old man got our car in March of this year. So because of that, it has allowed us some opportunities um, in terms of work, and especially with side hustles. And so I'm going to get into Instacart. The main reason why I started Instacart was obviously to keep gas in the car. I've been really good with shopping specific produce and specific items because I cook a lot of I cook a variety of different ethnic cuisines, like Caribbean, Filipino, Korean, that sort. So I figured if I had that much expertise, then I shouldn't have a problem with Instacart. I applied in mid-August, or some up to mid-August. I started August 16th, and it just seemed easy. Other apps, I think, like especially Uber Eats, is very specific with, furthermore, more specific with vehicle information, especially with license. I had a tough time with car insurance. I had a tough time with that. So I waited a few days. I think I applied on a Friday. Like within 3 days, I got approved. And how I first did it, well, how Instacart have you do it is that while you wait for your physical card to come in, I have Apple Pay. I don't know what the equivalent would be on Android, but I have Apple Pay. But that means you have a limited amount of what they call batches or orders. So my first order was at a Winn-Dixie, and thankfully it was a Winn-Dixie that I shop at. I'm usually good at doing orders at places where I shop, so it's easier for me to get around the scope of the store. So my first order, the batch was $14 because of the mileage, and the tip I think was six something. It was a pretty big like grocery order. No, it was a big grocery order, but the thing was, I was at the skin of my teeth with my battery percentage because I didn't think that it would run low. So as soon as I'm at the checkout, I'm at 20%. I did have a cord in my car, but I was at 20%, making sure that it remains for me to check out the items. How Instacart have their items? If it's a single batch, if it's not those double or triple batches, they're usually good on organizer. But if it's like the double or triple batch, they're usually not that really good. They'll just have a list of items and don't really have it like grouped in a section of the store, because usually the first thing you come in the front of the store is the produce, so you figure they would list it in that order. So I managed to get there within time, especially since I knew like the area. That's the thing. If you're gonna do like Instacart, Uber Eats, and DoorDash, it helps to know really well like the area you're gonna be in, the zone that you're gonna be in. I do my best to get good groceries, especially because I shop as well. You should always aim your best trying to do these orders, or if not, these customers are gonna find some silly way to report or deactivate you for no reason. And that's one of the grievances that I think the gig worker collective, I believe, are bringing up, excuse me, is that so many people, you gotta watch out for these customers because they'll, they'll report or do something because of a refund, because of a desirable refund, or just to screw with the shopper will report, false stuff. And I know they have some videos circulating about what you can do to protect yourself. Instacart Bulldog has some good videos on how to do so while you're shopping, like a dash cam, not only for the road, but for these fraudulent customers who may claim that they got the order wrong. The area I'm in, I still had managed, within these 2 months to do well. Like I managed to get $60 in a day on two $30 batches, singular, no double. One time, and I was able to do 100 hours in a day, but that's because I was out there for 8 hours. Some people do it every day. I know they got some people like Tap Bar that do it, and it's like, well, he's in a region that's popping, that's busting, you know what I mean? So, but he's in an area that's popping. Baton Rouge is an okay city. It's not really popping as, say, maybe New Orleans. I may be mistaken on New Orleans in terms of Instacart because it's been slow lately. I'm gonna get to that. But I did like a $40 order. I always do my best to do at least 10 plus, depending on how things are looking that week. It doesn't make sense in the batch pay. The batch pay is usually what constitutes of like mileage, like how far from the store the shopper has to drive from. So I've seen a couple of batches on my screen that I obviously did not take, that was just low for the items that they're requesting to be brought and to be purchased. I've seen some batches that started at $7 or $9, and the customer will have the audacity to request the items. The items are one thing, but the units. So say if I have an item of, a pack of water, how many units of water are you requesting? I remember my largest batch of water, well, two. It was seven packs of bottled water, like 24 or 32. Luckily, I have the car that could do that. Y'all are going to do these orders that have water, and especially if they have apartments, y'all need to invest in a dollar. Invest in some equipment like bags, insulated bags, fanny pack, a dolly. That's going to make things convenient and easier, because some of these customers, they'll be at an apartment and they'll be on like the third or on fourth floor, and will have the audacity they'll expect you, because you took in that batch, to bring all that up. And it kind of happened to me. Thankfully, it was one of those newer apartments that had an elevator. I was like, you damn right I was going to take this elevator, because you got me messed up. You think I'm going with these stairs. As I'm speaking, I've just received my insulated bags. Yesterday, Instacart have their own bags. I just went ahead and brought them because I don't have time to be going to these stores, and they may not have the specific bags that I'm looking for. And I have to go through this dance with Instacart and check whether or not it's an approved bag or not. So I just went ahead and paid like $25.99 fee, like, because there's some steps that you have to complete, and it includes insulated bags, because some customers want their food. You may have some hot or cold items, and they want those items intact. They don't want items to be melted. So some scenarios that I came across. Number one will be cancellation. I cancel if I have to, like if there's no way I'm able to because of what's going on at the store, which I should never accepted, because if I was to do, I was gonna be late to pick up my daughter, and it wouldn't make sense. Like there would be more $30 batches to come. But secondly, this what got me was that I accepted a batch for this discount. So I drive all the way to the discount store. Come to find out that the discount store was not open. It was intact. It probably didn't have enough workers. It was closed, and I just find it mind-boggling because the store did not close. It was 5 o'clock in the evening, and they didn't close. It was supposed to close until 10. So I had to cancel, and they give you a list of reasons to cancel. That was one instance. Another instance was supposed to be my first shopping experience at Costco. I like Costco because the shopping tends to be quick. Costco is a warehouse store, and they're not necessarily going to run out of food, and it's right there, and they do a good job of listing certain items ahead instead of having to peek into the door and whatnot. And but just watch if you have a small car, accept what you can, like in terms of how many items and units, because Costco stuff is big. Those paper towels are big. You know, the heavy food sack of dog food. Whew, hurt your back. Well, it was an experience that I had to cancel. It was a double order. The locations, the mileage to the store wasn't bad. My connection at the time, I was with T-Mobile, so I switched to AT&T. I don't have that problem anymore. But what bugged me was when I showed the membership, which is in the app when you do Costco orders, showed it to the door person, going further into the store, the connection was not working real good. It will not let me scan like barcode or whatnot. I was just so frustrated because I came here to do an order. I'm losing out on $30. So I had to just drive and go somewhere where I could get good connection to talk with like Instacart service, chit chat, whatever you call it, and tell them I had to cancel because the connection was poor. That's another lesson with Instacart, is that when you're doing these batches, for any gig, not only do you need to keep your phone charged, it needs to have good connection. There are some stores that will have Wi-Fi services, while you're shopping at the store. Costco does not have, for the life of me, for some reason, does not have Wi-Fi. You think it would make sense if these customers are paying $60 to $120 a year on a membership. That just frustrates me. That just really frustrated me. So cancel if you really have to, because the more you cancel, the more it may be cause for deactivation. You gotta watch Instacart because they'll deactivate you for seemingly some of the silliest stuff. My cancellation rate is at 4%. I only cancel if I have to. Driving with Instacart is that it allows me to see like more certain neighborhoods that I've never been to. So going into these neighborhoods, most of the customers that I kind of did batches for, appears to be affluent, like what upper middle class people. And when I'm driving into these neighborhoods, these subdivisions, like I'm playing like the theme song from The Real Housewives of Orange County in my mind, because it's like, wow, like in my Tiffany Haddish voice, ooh, this is nice, girl. Like, seeing how the other half lives, and then in a way it exists to you because, well, I never been over there. I haven't had any business over there or anything that I needed to do. It's like when you live in the city, or at least that's what I do. Otherwise, what's the point of, going over there? So, what Instacart gives me is a nice observation of some areas that I've never really frequented, but also understand like where I'm going. Like if I'm over there next time, now I know like certain shortcuts or streets where to go to make my driving experience a bit more convenient. Another observation when doing Instacart, just paying attention to people's like orders, getting a sense about them with their orders. Like you'll pick up some things and like, maybe I'll try that next time. Like particular stores that's good with produce and that person will have an array of produce that needs to be purchased. It's like, it kind of encourages you to try out certain products yourselves or go to that store more often, especially in my case, because if it wasn't for Instacart, maybe I probably would have not considered it. Let's talk about some of the scenarios. Will be like the amount that people pay for each order. And I saved some screenshots. I have looked at a couple of batches that will come and they will stay on my screen because either I or nobody else will touch it until that person ups some more. This is a thing. They have the money to pay for mileage, batch, and tip. They're being stingy, but then somebody's gonna take it. Somebody's gonna take it. And I'm like, y'all tripping. For the amount of gas that you're wasting, you need to be picking batches that's gonna compensate time that you're out there and mileage. And especially gas money. Don't sell yourself short. Well, here's a scenario. So let's go through one of these orders. So it was a $9 batch order. The base pay is $7. It didn't have no tip at all, I believe. It was 3 miles from the store. Okay. The items, however, were 38 items. I cannot remember how many units each of those items were. But for $9, that is just pretty cheap. In this era, what they were in were people like myself, gig worker and that, you risking to get these deliveries done one night, please leave a generous tip. It don't make sense to buy all that food, especially from these stores like, I don't know, Whole Food-esque stores, and to be so stingy with a tip. How you gonna expect good service if you don't give, a well-balanced tip that's reasonable to your items? Just save enough money for a tip whenever you get to, requesting a batch to be done. So this is another batch scenario that I came across. I did not take it. This one was $7 base no tip at Sephora. And Sephora is not cheap. I know because I used to frequent in high school. The last thing I purchased was Fenty Beauty foundation. It's like this stuff is from up to 20. Their foundation is 37. It's not cheap. So I look at the items because I'm curious. I'm not going to accept the batch, obviously, for $7. The little little pout lips stunner things, I think it's $20. That all-nighter spray, when I looked at the items from Urban Decay, I think it's $20, and the travel size is $16. So that's off the top, like at least $40 from two of those. But it had 10 items, and looking at that, because I shop makeup, I know a lot about prices of makeup. That probably totaled to $200. Those items are probably like maybe 20-ish each. So I'm figuring if you have enough money for that, surely you should have a reasonable tip. Like, 20% of 200? I don't know, 30? You can't expect, it's like a waiter. You really gonna expect the waiter to do very good service only to, tip them very poorly at the, you think things are going good, but then you come across the comments, and the comments, there's 4 sections. I think quality of items, replacing items. It's one of the 4 blocks that you're rated on before while you get your 5-star rating. I'm at a 4.6. I feel like it could be higher if I had a low crappy experience. I think it's because I ran to some stores, especially during Hurricane Ida, where bread and water, everything's about gone, and you try to make a good like semblance of what the batch was intended to be. So this was my bad scenario story. I accepted a double batch, and I was doing well with the orders. So I get to B's house and realized that I had switched the items, and I had switched one of A items with B items. So B, I just paid out my own money because that was my fault, and I thought nothing of it till I had to look back at the items. Ever since then, I do my best to keep it low. But when I look back, I realize I accidentally switched A and B's items. But in this next scenario, when it comes to like reporting missing or damaged items, just really got me. Now, and I think everybody will agree with me. So, one of the items that was reported wrong was strawberries. Not gonna go into depth because I don't want to risk myself, but here in the store you'll understand. So at this particular store, they did not sell the brand of strawberries that she requested. And that's the thing with Instacart. Just because you requested those items doesn't mean that they're sold at that store. They don't keep those specific items in stock. I think that needs to be updated. Like actually having stock or updated on the website database items that are actually in the store. Now, they nonetheless did have strawberries. It may not have been the brand of strawberries, but nonetheless they did. I can understand if it wasn't organic and I made a mistake, but nonetheless they were strawberries. Picked up this brand before anytime, because I frequent this specific store a lot. So anytime somebody requested that produce, and I get it, and I had no problems afterward, because when you shop for yourself, you make replacements. You make, an alternative. And this will bugs me because I was in thorough communication with this customer. I was in thorough communication with the customer throughout the batch because there were a couple of items that I had to replace that they didn't have at the store. And more importantly, the customer, some of them don't pay attention when you send a message or at the refund or when you get to checkout. If they don't respond, I'm checking out. You should have had a chance to respond while in the duration of the batches. I was in communication with the customer about replacing other items or taking it off the list. Then there should have been further communication about the strawberries. With Instacart, sometimes I don't start. So, and with Instacart, the customer is notified whether the shopper has replaced or picked up that item, if that request has been fulfilled. They are in notification, and the customers, some of them do approve of the replacement, and you could actively see your order taking place. So it's like if you see something you don't want, please, as a customer, notify that shopper, because if not, then that shopper don't need no necessary report or fraud. If you just didn't want the item, or if you didn't want to spend a lot of money, well, then have a refund. And I told this to my old man because he probably tired. Cause I'm like, what in the hell? What the hell? Am I smoking or drinking? And I did report because I'm like, really? Instacart needs to update that. Not everything is sold in stores. You want to do a good job, I guess, because they got shady customers out there. They got shady shoppers out there too. Thank you for watching my video, and remember, no tip, no trip.